Grand Rising. The truth is that there are a lot of myths out there about breastfeeding, and I want to clear up some of those myths with you today. Let's jump into this. Number 1, you can't breastfeed when you're sick. Myth. Your baby has already gotten your ailment, and you need to breastfeed to pass on essential antibodies to them. Not only that, but if your baby catches something from daycare or the playground or other children, your body is so smart that it produces the antibodies to help them get over their sickness as well. Breast milk is a magical substance. Next up, myth number 2. If you have small breasts, you won't produce enough milk for your baby. Now, there are a lot of things that might impact successful breastfeeding, but this is definitely not one of them. Breast size has absolutely nothing to do with breastfeeding. There are instances where women have very, very large, heavy breasts, and they do have issues with breastfeeding, but with the proper support and help from a lactation consultant, you should have no issues with your tissues. Next up, myth number 3. You need to eat only bland foods when breastfeeding. No, not true. Absolute myth. Not really anyway. The only thing that you might want to avoid are foods that can cause allergic reactions like soy, shellfish, or peanuts. But before you worry, you should definitely talk to your provider. Myth number 4. Breastfeeding your baby makes your baby more dependent and clingy. Well, that's not exactly true. When you're breastfeeding, you're the only one that is providing nutrients to your baby, so obviously you build a very strong bond. And because you're nursing, you're going to be spending a lot more time with your baby. Studies say that breastfed babies become more independent later in life, so they're more well adjusted than babies who aren't breastfed. Next up, number 5. You can't breastfeed if you've had breast reduction or augmentation surgery. Myth. Modern day implant techniques do not interfere with breastfeeding, and breast reduction surgery is just removing the volume of the tissue of the breast, and honestly, the only surgery that can impact breastfeeding in any way is mastectomy. Next up, number 6. Breastfeeding makes your breast look more saggy. Myth. Guess what? Breasts often double in weight during pregnancy, whether you breastfeed or not, and the only thing that affects the volume and the buoyancy of your breast is age. Sorry to break it to you, ladies. Honestly, guys, I could talk about breastfeeding all day. Now, if you have any other questions about breastfeeding or lactation, please let me know. If you need help having your dream birth, comment DreamBirth23 in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I love you, and namaste.